This time, I call in Senator Boni Khalwale to second. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second this motion. And Mr. Speaker, I want to strongly request colleagues in this House that we must reject the attempt by the National Assembly to reduce the money that was meant for equalization to any other figure. And Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about the letter and spirit of the Constitution of Kenya. In 2005, when delegates carefully drawn from all groups of stakeholders met in Bomas and unanimously agreed that the historical injustice that had been visited upon some of the arid and semi-arid counties where they were deliberately from 1965 marginalized, we agreed as delegates that we needed to right that wrong. And Mr. Speaker, we not only wrote it into the Constitution, but even stated that this is a deliberate move not to fight poverty, but to fight a historical injustice of deliberate marginalization. Mr. Speaker, at that time, 14 beneficial counties were identified. I don't know what happened, Leader of Majority, while I was away for 5 years. How marginalization morphed into the need to use equalization funds to fight poverty. Poverty exists in all our counties, Nairobi included, and the privileged Kiambu included. Privileged because Kiambu has written in the history of this country that they have produced 2 presidents, one for 15 years, another one for 10 years, a total of 25 years. And Mr. Speaker, the old bad mindset, part of the reason why our children are pouring in the streets in the name of Gen Z, is that development has tended to follow where the executive comes from. So, Mr. Speaker, we needed to write this.
Honorable Senator, don't confuse the public any further by referring to the chairs, Mr. Speaker. Please correct that.
Madam Speaker, my apologies, but you know some of us come from the old school of English, the old school of religion, that defines that when you say he with respect, you mean all the women and all the men. But with due respect, Madam Speaker, I am so guided. Madam Speaker, I am reflecting on this point. You know, when we moved from 14 counties to benefit from this fund to now 34 counties, we missed it by several kilometers. Madam Speaker, if you look today at the counties that benefit from devolution, from equalization fund, you'll be shocked. A green county, the green jewel of Kenya, called Kericho, with due respect to the Senator of Kericho, who is the leader of majority, is one of the counties benefiting. Really? Kericho? The green county? That you allow it to compete for funds for water with the Turkana. Mr. Speaker, the leader of the majority last month made a very emotional speech in this House.
Senator Mwinyi Haji Mohamed Faki would like to inform you. Would you be obliged to receive that information?
Yes, I would like to be informed by my good
you may
colleague.
Proceed.
To inform my brother and colleague in the Finance Committee that
Turkana, there is Lake Turkana and another river that traverses the center of the county of Turkana. So there is no Takwel, yes. So there is no shortage of water in Turkana. Thank you.
We proceed, Senator Boni.
Mr. Speaker, in the good old days of Speaker Kaparo, and I'm not casting in any way any aspersions against you. If in the old days of Ole Kaparo, the senator of Mombasa would have been thrown out of the house immediately for that remark that there is too much water in Turkana. Mr. Speaker, this is the same impunity that we saw in South Africa when Steve Biko was lying there dying from hunger. The white leaders who were in parliament that day were saying that Steve Biko was just having a headache and he would be fine. We have to be mindful of the challenges in Turkana. I know the senator of Mombasa is not a well-traveled man. He's a professional who has been a bookworm all the way from the days he was in high school up to now when he's a good lawyer. He has to read all the time. There is no water in Turkana, I'm telling you. And Tana River, and Baringo, and Wajir, and Mandera, the counties that we wanted to give water, give electricity, give roads, and health facilities so that they can come close to Nairobi, close to Kiambu, close to Murang'a, close to Meru. And today, Meru is competing for those funds. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to support that we should reject this deliberate effort to water down the intention of equalization, because before we know it, it is now only remaining 7 years. In 7 years' time, the period for equalization will have come to an end. And the billions that were supposed to have been taken there, now amounting to 48.8 billion, have never gone there into the equalization fund account. So we will soon be asked by this constitution to extend the period of equalization. With those many remarks, I second and I really beg colleagues, let us reject this proposal from the National Assembly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable Senators, I propose the question that the National Assembly amendments to the Equalization Fund Appropriation Number 2 Bill, Senate Bill Number 30 of 2023, be now considered. I will invite Senators to make contributions to this motion. Senator Danson Mungatana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to make my contribution. On the onset, Madam Speaker, I want...
Anson, I hope you'll be minded of the fact that several people would like to contribute, and of your own volition, make it a business of 3 minutes. Pause.
Five, Madam Speaker, 5.
It's in agreement, 5 minutes for
Yes.
each senator. Thank you.
So, Madam Speaker, very quickly, Tana River County, Madam Speaker, is a beneficiary of the Equalization Fund. And Madam Speaker, these are realities. Last week, when I was at home, I was informed that large areas like Vumbwe, Ceylon, Wema, and all those areas near the Tarda irrigation scheme, they do not have electricity, and they